Buddy, hello to this first fabulous day of Navratri, which is really extremely special this year. It's always special, but this year, like with all of the festivals from all over the cultures, they seem to be extraordinarily special. So, welcome, 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 welcome as we breathe into this amazing energy that is just pouring in waves and waves. It's like pulsating. For me, it's pulsating. Loud and quite clear for quite a few people out there. So I've been having a lot of fun with meditating today. I'm really just blessed and in that situation where I can do. Hello, Michelle. How are you, my love? Hi. So glad you're here, my dog lady out there. Yeah, my dog has been, it's like it's like he's just there. He's always got messages for me. Whether they're from him directly or through somebody else. Like I had one today. Very strongly from him. So yeah, but he's really around with me. So yeah. I loved your pottery. They were really beautiful. So welcome to Navratri, day 1. And it's really, we did go through the introduction to it last night. What was it also? Oh, right, and it's new moon. So we're having the last of the moon in Pisces. And it's really interesting because that's cool. It's just because it is mainly listening. You'll just miss out on a couple of pretty pictures. That's fine. It's the, you know. What was I going to say? Right. So, hey, lovey, my love. I've been like, I thought, but this happens to me whenever I work deeply with this old Hindu, this old Vedic stuff. Is you think you just start to vaguely scratch the surface, and it just starts to kind of cave in and converge, and it just becomes like this whole mountain. And it's like, I need to know this, and it's like, and it's like a whole nother ocean and a whole nother cosmos just opens. And that is actually how it is. It's just, they're so full of like this big cosmos, and then more universes being created within universes, being created within universes, and dissolving and not being destroyed, but dissolving, and then new universes being made, mainly by these incredible goddesses, and and their buddies, their partners. It was something that came very quite interestingly today, and I can't remember the story right now, but it will jump in very quickly. I think it was about Durga. She had to have a particular incarnation, and she had to come as an incarnation on the planet as a living being. Otherwise, she would have just been an element of a spirit or a god, not spirit, not a real flesh and blood. And it's just so interesting because all of the Hindu deities have had physical lives. They're not like bigger than big or untouchable, and they make mistakes and they get angry. They've got pretty good morals, most by and large, compared to any of the other mythologies. I call them mythologies because they are. This one I don't think is a mythology. But yeah, they worry, and and most of them are married as well, which is really just awesome. I call them homeowners. on this. Householders. So a lot of the gurus are householders. Hey, beautiful, beautiful Grace. Yeah, we're all zooming. So we've got some folk here, and I have had a lot of poetic lessons with this stuff. So I've done this now. I was trying to think, I think it's 3 years, but there's a lot of Navratris each year. So most people don't celebrate them. Most people just celebrate the one in October, which is the big one. But there are 4. Um, some are gupt, which mean hidden because they're the darker side. And this one is it's a lot more celebrated this year than it was before, but I think it's always is celebrated slightly differently because it is actually the Hindu New Year. So it's moving from the end of Pisces into the aspect of creation and into the moon, into the over the solstice equinox. I won't get them right, and that's okay. So let's dive in and see where we're going. For me, a lot of this, because I've done it, I've done them different levels at the way that I've had to try to figure them out for myself, because as I said, they're just so many layers upon layers upon layers. And it's like I found this year doing the illustrations and thinking about how I'm going to, like, what needs to come to approach it this year, was almost that feeling of when I've watched when I didn't realize that I'd watched my first German movie and I understood it, and it was like only near the end I thought, oh my goodness, I actually pretty much understood everything. So in German, yeah. So that's kind of like the feeling that I'm having a little bit about the images this year, because they actually talk so much, and it's been a long journey for me to actually understand all these images and the weapons and how they tie in and what they symbolize. And this stuff is a picture tells a million stories, and the stories just all like linking. So as I said, this year I've broken it's always is broken up into 3. So the first is, let's just see if we've got some pretty images to make it. The first 3 is kind of Durga, but Durga more as her aspect of Kali, which, as I said, is always just so. I mean, it's just, you can write a book just on each one. I don't know where I was. Okay, so this was it, yeah. So for me, so we have Durga, and this Durga, this Navratri is riding on a tiger, and I actually found it, and it is literally just one word that makes her ride on a tiger and makes her ride on a lion. And her history goes, oh, he was saying that she had to get married. That's right. She had to have an incarnation on the planet, otherwise she would have just been a spirit. So we know how complicated that is, just to believe in this great big spirit in the sky. Yeah. It's a very hands-on, very tangible, beautiful. I love the Hindu stuff. The more I get into it, the more I love it more. I don't like the AI stuff that's hopping around, so I'm glad I started before that. But so, yeah, I always just find it's really quite nice to know that I have these amazing aspects of Makali hanging around looking after us. So, or Durga over these first 3, because we need her extreme power to actually cut this shit and get through those deep dark waters, especially this year. So we've still got these 3 days of the Piscean energy, but it's like really the dregs. We really, that's what the energy is kind of pulling into us at the moment. But above all of this, we have another goddess, which is Tara, Ma Tara. She, in the Hindu thing, is she kind of makes Kali look like a benevolent nursery school teacher when she's in a bit of a mood. So this is who's really the boss, the great big Ma Tara. She was split up and blended into very beautiful aspects in the Buddhist tradition. Remember, all Buddhists were originally Hindu. They came from that part of the land. And if we think of the green Tara guru, the green Tara, she is very, very benevolent and very kind, and she will help you, and she'll help you through absolutely everything. She, like Kali, you call on her when, or Matara, you call on her when the going gets really shit. So don't forget you can call on her, or she's right here for us now, whether you like it or not, and especially as you're kind of part of this little ceremony, which I'm putting it out there, you've got it. So as I said, I like to kind of broken this one up into the goddesses of the deep waters. You know, I love my water stuff. And I've looked at it first at the calling, the first 3 days, which will culminate on the equinox, the 21st. So on the 19th today is Shailaputri, 20th is Brahmacharini, the commitment, and then Chandrakanta. It's so perfect. It's just, as we all know, everything is just more than beyond perfect this year. So those were from Once Upon a Time. There we go. She's quite sassy on this bull. So who she is Parvati in her first incarnation, in her first as the daughter of the mountain. And who she was before was actually Sati, if you remember, which was Shiva's first wife, and whom he absolutely adored and loved. And he wasn't appreciated by her parents, especially her father. And he had this great big party and invited everybody except Shiva. But she just, and her, so she said, well, I don't need an invitation, I'm going. And Shiva said, no, don't go. But she showed a really rough side of herself, a bit of Kali. And he said, okay, well, then go. You know, what does a woman want? She wants her own way. And she was so horrified and felt so tainted by not being invited and the ridicule that her father had put out to about Shiva, that she immolated herself, which is that she threw herself on the fire, on the funeral pyre, and fizzled. Well, Nandi is Shiva's bull. There's a beautiful story as well behind that. And realized there was really like big problems. So Shiva, we won't go into that story too much, but all these stories just interlink all the time. So Shiva was beyond himself with grief. Absolutely, there was no consoling him. And he walked around with this dead body of Sati in his arms for whoever knows how long, until she was distributed into 52 pieces by, I think, Brahma, which became sacred sites in India. And then he went off to the mountain and he just went into meditation. He was inconsolable, was beyond himself in deepest grief. It's really sad, you know. Often I cry at this story because it is just so dreadfully sad. I find it very, very sad that he had so much love for this beautiful girl. So where are we here with her? Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. So she came back. There will never ever be another Sati. But the gods thought, well, what are they going to do? So she came back, reincarnated into the form. Yeah, they're amazing, hey, isn't it? It's absolutely. They just like blink. Oh, and I just love this stuff. As I say, I'm just like totally in love with it. So, and just such beautiful stories. Most of Bollywood is all about these stories. They don't need to make crazy movies. They've got it just in their beautiful stories. So he was beyond himself. He was like just meditated, and nobody could disturb him. And they were like really panicking. What are we going to do? He can't keep meditating for thousands and thousands of years. The whole of the universe is like crazy. Things they are going crazy. The bad guys were taking over, and yeah, it was like total anarchy was starting to happen out there. So along came, and this is who she is right now today. Shailaputri she was the daughter of the mountain king, which is what Parvati means, from the mountain. And she was of royalty, her parents were of royalty, and she had these dreams. She was the reincarnation, she was the energy of Sati. But she just kept having these dreams about this crazy ascetic guy that was like meditating in the snow, and she didn't know about, but she was just drawn to these dreams all the time. So one day she went off walking. Just trying to think. Oh, she felt. I can't. Just trying to think exactly. Nandi is the bull. Nandi is Shiva's like devoted companion, and what he rides. Um, Nandi's always there in all the temples. There's always Nandi, because Nandi will tell us about Shiva. And Nandi sort of met her one day and took her into the forest, or into the mountains, where all these ascetics were meditating. And she was actually quite frightened, because that Shiva's got a whole pile of like strange companions with him, and he was sitting there in meditation. And Nandi actually consoled her and said, no, don't be afraid. I'm going to take you. This is what your dreams are all about. And then she saw Shiva, and she said, oh, that's the dude. But now he was still meditating. But so she knew now that he was real. It wasn't just part of her imagination. So then we had the bow and arrow that got Shiva. But anyway, so this is her calling now. So she is blessed, hugely blessed by Nandi. As I say, if you start to read the symbols, it becomes just so extraordinarily beautiful. Just find the. Oh God, my eyes, I feel like I've got 20 eyes at the moment. I just want to show some pretty pictures. It's just so pretty. So she comes down from the mountain, and as we've gone before, she's young. She's very young. She must be about 16, 17, maybe 15, not much older than that. And she's heard the calling. She knows where she's going. She's had the visions. She knows they're not just visions. There is something really real about this. And this is where it's it's part of the awakening. It's the calling. And we keep doing this in more and more different, beautiful layers. So this is a beautiful, beautiful window that offering us to fly through. Don't jump, just fly through, just float through the window. So we'll go into the little rituals you can do tonight. I had such a trippy thing. Anyway, but we'll get there. And she comes, and she has the Trishula, which is Shiva's. Okay, so that immediately she's there. She's under the auspices of Shiva. She has his protection. She has Big Father. He is Papa. He is the beginning and the destroyer. The Alpha and the Omega. He's this. He's not a Christ figure. He's like a Father Christ. He's huge. Shiva is just like everything. but yet he also has no form. People just put a gorgeous form to him. But I mean, his history goes all the way back to almost every culture where that element of Shiva is in there. From Kronos, he is the keeper of the animals. And now she is the holder of the wild animals, because she's been in the mountains. She's been praying and praying and meditating and fasting and meditating and alone. She doesn't have she doesn't want any friends, because she just wants to join with Shiva. And at this stage in her life, she can only do it through meditation. So she's a little weird. She's like lost it a little bit. um, where was I going with her story? I forgot. But she comes and she comes with the Trishula, which she knows, which is Shiva's Trishula, bearing this incredible weapon, which cuts the lower base of us, those three base chakras. Okay, they just keep us so tied to this planet and tied to samsara and going round and round in circles. Tied to sex, tied to food, tied to ego, tied to emotions, round and round and round. I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the emotions. Remember that. I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the emotions. Just be the observer. The other thing is that she comes from the mountain, so there's this incredible solidity and grounding. She is the awakening of the Muladhara chakra, of the base chakra, of this connection to earth. Obviously, we have Ganesh. Ganesha hasn't come around yet, but we do have Ganesha in the background who is holding all of this for us. What else? Oh, she has this bud. She doesn't have a fully fledged. See it? It's not a full-on lotus. You can see I'm tripping over this stuff. It's like drugs. It's like absolute drugs. But I've been on like drugs for the spiritual drugs for the last while. Oh God, it's not been easy, guys, but it's been fabulous. Where am I? Blip, 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 blip. Yeah, I'm here. Yay! We did some other pretty ones. Whoops, come back. Come back, you silly. As I said, she's kind of quite camp and adorned this year. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Where am I? We've got these dudes, and we've got her on her bull. Da 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 da. So Nandi's always very much in love with it. Oh, she's got her no lotus, which is actually it's not fully open, the lotus that she's carrying. And here she really only has two arms. She hasn't grown some yet. And that is just the unfolding, which also obviously signifies this is like the first rodeo. This ain't my first rodeo, guys. Which is the promise of that, the Om Mani Padme Hum, which becomes the jewel, which becomes later on. But yeah, she is, and she has so much power. Teenagers have this, young women, she's not in her 20s yet, have this extraordinary amount of power that they can really change the earth completely. So I was doing my so what we've also done, part of this is I did a lot of water and fire initiations over the eclipses, yeah. And we've been doing an altar to the mother because things are going to change. The mother's going to really manifest, and we're really pushing for that. And she is starting to manifest by this equinox. And things are definitely changing, and she will be manifesting in huge ways on the planet. She already is. Just jump in here. There's that incredible. Please go and Google it if you're interested in it. It's called Mother's March. It is. I think it's a 450 odd mile march of women in the States. I think they are from North Carolina and Virginia, and they're marching. Anybody can join. So if it's I think they got a bit of inspiration from the March for Peace of the monks. It's free if you want to join. You can join them wherever you want to. If you're on their route, they're marching to Washington, D.C. Yeah, and so they're starting on the 21st. Awesome, thanks, Grace. They're starting on the 21st. Solstice, equinox, and then they're finishing off on the 22nd of April. So if you want, as I say, you can just go onto their website and have a look. It's free. It's a bit like the what is that Spanish one, the Costa, the Campanella. I've read the books. What is it? It's absolutely beautiful. It's by Shirley MacLaine did that one. So they're walking. You don't have to walk the whole. You can join. You can go partly by car, but they're going very much on faith. And it's a bunch of mainly women artists. You don't have to be a woman to join the march, but it is mainly women artists that are just going to spread art, and it's going to be interesting to see really what's happening with it. It's going to be, I'm sure it'll, just remember you heard it here, so I'm sure it will pop up in our feed somewhere, and I'm sure it will, in the next couple of weeks, will get bigger and bigger. The 22nd of April is Earth Day, so they're going to the capital, to DC. They'll arrive. However many arrive, I have no idea. They couldn't give numbers. They said because some people are doing the whole walk and going very much on faith, so it doesn't cost to join it. You can get a hotel if you want to, but there are places which you can live in the gym of a school or somebody's backyard, or spend the night there and have a piece of bread. So it's very much like what is it called? The Campanella, the one that goes through Spain. So it's quite a long walk. Huh? So it's like 450 odd miles. So so many blessings to them. So many blessings. It's great. I love these feel good things that people are doing, which is very positive right now. So I had this like beyond great, beyond fabulous thing when I was doing my preparation for this Navratri today, and I'm not Hindu, so I don't understand. I've like whittled a lot of the stuff very much down just to the things that I like. I know my own money, my thingamajiggy. See, now I've got on money because I've been doing the on money type me home. Namah Shivaya, my favorite, the 5-element one. A few, the Chamundai. So there are a few that I've like studied and worked through with and understand what they, and obviously the Gayatri mantra. Actually, I do know quite a lot, but there are hundreds, there are thousands of mantras. So obviously everybody has their mantra, and you're supposed to say this one and that one and that one and this one. And there are certain, and they've got quite like, they've really taken a lot of the fundamental Hindus, fundamental people are really doing this like properly. So you're supposed to do all this chanting, and you're supposed to do this 108 times, and I've worked with the names of Durga, but I don't understand Hindu, and it or Sanskrit, which is a pity. Another place, another time, I would definitely be studying Sanskrit. Maybe I can do it, but there's no Indian people to practice on here, so it's difficult. So and things mean are completely different. It's that it's a very living, alive language. So what was I doing? Where was I saying? What was I saying? Oh, right, I was talking. So one of the things is to go through the 32 sacred names of Durga, which is just beautiful. So I get one that's like been translated into English, so I can go through and understand that she is like the dispeller of obstacles, etc. for these 3 days. And then one of the things that's usually recommended, certain things that I have done on my altar, and I just like, I don't have these people anymore. Some I do have, so I've used Kuan Yin as this goddess, to the goddesses to take me through all of this. Will be Kuan Yin. She'll just have to like morph into everybody. But what's very interesting is that they have this thing which is like, it's like 16 verses or 16 this, 16 that. Obviously, I can listen to it in Sanskrit, but it's kind of doesn't mean anything to me unless I kind of know the meaning of it. I do like to know a little bit. I'm not just one to just sprout out words. And they are actually, it's calling in, and it's like, because she is the holder of nature. She holds all of the forest animals and the mountain animals, the wild animals. She holds the waters. She holds the mountains. And she holds partly the 5 elements because she's so blessed with Shiva. So it is to actually bring in all of these, this very, very long prayer, which you do over days, to bring in and bless all the sacred rivers and the sacred sites, and the sacred trees and the sacred animals and the sacred plants. And I just thought, this is like, I'm not going to do this. I have, it was like such an instant thought. And I thought, there's so many, I don't really relate to these trees. They talk about the leaves when we do puja with Jared, and he'll talk about particular leaves and particular fruits, but they're very indigenous to India. And I can know them like in my head, like the Bodhi tree, I can know it in my head and my imagination, but I don't know it. I've never been to India. So I just thought, well, there are just so many amazing rivers all over the world. And I just like, it was just such an instantaneous thing. So we've all been zooming. It was, I don't know what it was. It was out of my body, but it wasn't out of my body, but it was. And I just went on turbo boost everywhere. And it was like, I didn't stop to think where I was going. I just went like to the Amazon, I can't even think where I went, to the Nile, they were just like going on in my head. And instantly I was in these places and seeing the energy outside was just of these sacred rivers, and seeing it through my eyes, not as a picture, but I was actually looking at them. And then I went on and I thought, well, now we've got to bless the sacred sites. So they've got 52 sacred sites in India, but they don't mean anything to me. I mean, they do. That's where Asati's body was like distributed in these sites, but they don't really mean. And I do know what some of the rivers, the Ganges, and I sort of thought, oh, well, what am I going to do? And everybody baths in them, and they're so holy to the Indians. Oh, well, we've got all these rivers all over, the Zambezi River and the Hudson River and the Mississippi and the Amazon and the Nile and the Great Zambezi and the Limpopo, and I was just flying absolutely all over the planet and blessing the water. And then I went into the mountains. So obviously, for this blessing, it would be in Mount Kailash. But I wasn't just in Mount Kailash. I went to Mount Shasta. I went to Uluru. I went but strange places. Very, very briefly, I did go to the pyramids, but it's not my big thing. Then I landed up going to old caves. It was like I was just being led and taken into these places, but so real. Like I could virtually touch the walls and see all these amazing ancient sites. Very, very holy sites, like in the canyon. Yeah, it's so weird. I didn't even. It was just intensely interesting. And then I did trees. I didn't want to stop doing this meditation, to be honest. And then I started with the elements, but I only started with water because it just exploded like way too much. So many downloads. So I will work with the water tomorrow, which I think is at most very, very potent and powerful, because we have the next phase of the goddess, which is then the commitment. So we've had the calling, and now we're going for the commitment, and to hold the space. It's just to hold the space for 9 days. So if you want to work with this, don't work with it too hugely. I mean, just know that it is there. And it is in a way another convergence, which is happening at the moment so much with the goddess all over the place, with the mother. Oh, that was also another huge, huge, huge insight. You know, I've said that there is if we all believe in the same God, then surely we must all believe in the same God. We all believe in the big high God. Surely we must all believe in the same God. And it works. It's really, really beautiful, and it works for me. But this was like such another deep revelation of we all believe in Mother Nature. Every culture talks about nature. And it's almost always, obviously there's no Father Nature. That's all Mother Nature. So we're all calling her the same thing, and we're all calling her. Yeah. So this is going to be a very interesting journey. As I said the other day, we've been on a little bit of a quiet road for a while, working with water ever since. Yeah. Oh, don't stop. Don't stop, Grace. Don't stop. I like, uh, I had to stop today because my brain was literally going to explode. No, it wasn't. I just knew it was too much. I've had it last week with the water, just like, oh my God! And it's part of like through this meditation that I just kind of stumbled upon, which I'm just loving. Which is just this is part of like where we're all going. Not the way I'm meditating, but we're going into a whole new way of doing things, and just going with the trust and going with the flow of whatever's happening. If I had sat and thought about it, like, okay, we are the rivers, the sacred rivers in the world. I didn't think about it. I just like went, and I just thought, okay, well, we are. I don't know, and I was all over the place. Just some I knew I forgot lots of them. It's completely different vibe as to having written it down or thought about where the rivers are. There was absolutely no thought. It was totally in this amazing, amazing flow. So the water bit, yeah. And I don't think I'll think because we did this very big baptism by fire, and we did a baptism with water, which was more like a uh, exorcism for the planet and for ourselves, because we are so stuck, and we really need to work hugely with that. This world has gotten a bit crazy, and as I've said a lot of times, we're not really. I don't like to hunk on that, but we're not really. No, don't stop. Yeah, yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah, the water, the water. No, you're far away from the water. It was such a beautiful story with your plants that they actually revived themselves. Yeah, yeah, you've gone from kind of the sublime to the ridiculous, from the ocean to the desert. But they're each beautiful in their space. Absolutely beautiful. And I think like if being in the desert, one actually appreciates the water even more. Yeah. Yeah, the water, the water, the water. Thank goodness for the water. And as that just takes some days it's just ritual, you know. There's no spark. I wish that I could say I'm always that's where I want to be. I want to be on a bouncy spark all the time. I don't have to be bouncing, but I want to be on that spark and that like reverence. But that's what we're working at, is just to maintain and to hold that energy and not like bounce around too. I mean, yes, I bounced around today, but I didn't bounce around, if you know what I mean. I'm like I'm kind of very stuck where I am right now, and I'm very happy to be stuck there, in a very, very mellow way, because it's also this. It's not huge. I mean, it's so huge, but it's not shouting and screaming. We have to hold the balance. We have to maintain the. Oh, beautiful! That's like awesome. Yeah, yeah. That's yeah. The Earth. She is just so amazing. I can't tell you how much. I mean, I was just like all over the place, places I've never seen, but like in split seconds, I saw so much, so much, so much, so much. I don't know. I forgot to check how long I've meditated for. But I'm going to do it again. I did it again at lunchtime, so it wasn't a fluke. So I'm going to do it again now before I go to bed. So I don't know if I made it clear about what I did. And I mean, I have it's maybe I haven't thought about it. Should I share it or what? Well, I'm gonna share it, but maybe it's a bit unfair because I've been doing so much other work, like big work, with a lot of breathing and stuff, and working with my chakras. So yeah, I just like I had it for a while, like the enormousness of how huge it is inside your head, and that's yeah. We don't have to, it's all about inside. We don't have to go very far. Mhm. So what else do I have to say about her? Do I have to say anything else about her? So, no, I don't think so. I really don't know. Um, I think I did say that Kia- Kiatra is the bright pearl, which is this Navratri. What else? So much stuff going on. Um, da, 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 I just need to check that I. No, it doesn't really matter. We've got what we've got more than enough for today, for the beginning, for the commitment. So the really sad thing actually is that most people won't get past today. They won't get to tomorrow. So, bring in some water, bring in some fire. Um, White is very sacred. So if you want to bring in some white flowers for this 3-day journey would be really great. And just tell the universe that you're here. Very much, I'm like really feeling this whole Shakti of it this year, how strong Shiva is around it. I mean, right from the beginning, yeah, with the bull, with Nandi, and with his trident, he's here, and he's working with the three, so many levels, and the mystery is so big we can't even think about it. We have to just take each little bit, which is just huge, and just work with it. Yeah. Otherwise, I must say I haven't dreamed. I had a dream the other night, and it was very clear. It was a very, very purging, very cleansing dream. Oh, I'm so sorry you couldn't bring them back. Yeah, pity, Grace. But you know what? Sometimes it's also nice to know that you just have them in your head. I sometimes think, oh God, I miss my things. And it's like, no, you don't. Yes, I do. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, but that's just I just be grateful and think, well, I'm in this situation for a reason, and it's a very unusual situation. So use me. I'm here. Um, it's like recommitting so often to being on the path and on the way, and yeah, I'm very pleased. I have my little boy dog with me all the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. He's always around. Sometimes, like in reality, you tend to forget about them till you hear the alarm and it's like, oh, it's food time, you must be hungry. Or he's scratching at the door to go out because he wants to go to the bathroom. So I do miss him. Something horrible sometimes. Something absolutely horrible. But it is what it is. And I will most probably, when I'm go and do some looking after, go and playing with other animals. I know you have to find the right one. I know. Then it's it's very personal to have the right one. It has the right face. This one behind me, I bought it, which is quite a nice one. If you can see here, he's a gold Buddha. He's actually done a lot of work. It's very special. Yeah, I can't be without a Buddha. No, I had lots of these guys. They used to also sell them, so I had like a whole garden full of them, so you could like walk around and buy them. So huge, big chunks like that of rose quartz. And there were chairs you could sit on. Kisa Peterson, welcome, hello. And I'm about to go. So do enjoy the replay, which has been the initiation into the first day. Yeah, you can't travel with him on an aeroplane. It's very complicated. It's difficult enough in a taxi. It's difficult enough when you move house. Oh. because I've got a big standing one in my bathroom. The whole house is kind of full of bouddhas. And I don't know what's in storage. Not much. Not much, yeah. I still haven't looked at it. Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting to see where tomorrow goes and where tonight goes. And enjoy the calling and set up your altar, say your prayers, be there if you're interested to do it. You don't have to. Just to say that I am here. Use me however you need to use me. Do the best that you can for today. Yeah? Don't judge yourself or compare yourself to others in this journey. Compare yourself to doing the best that you can for today. And pace yourself, because this is a very, very beautiful journey. And don't forget to do sunshine and absolutely drink the water. We will discuss some of the water stuff tomorrow, that is the next part. She has the water pot. So thank you, everybody. I love you too so much, Grace. Take good care of yourself. Take good care of your desert. It's a very special place. We must all look after the special places we're in. Still got this very heavy place called Germany to deal with. But it's okay. It is where it is. Yeah, I don't know what it is right now. So love, 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 love. And we will see you tomorrow, same place, same time, for day 2 of Navratri. Have a most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful evening. Sweet, sweet dreams. And shine, shine, shine. Love you all. Love, 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 love. Bye.